Hello, I am Adejumo Be Honest. I am your personal transformation coach. I invite you to join me on this journey of breaking free from a limited self image. Breaking free from a limited self image. See, the way you see yourself can either become the foundation of your growth or the prison that prevents you from growing. One of the most powerful forces influencing your life is not always what is happening around you, but sometimes it is what you believe about yourself. Two people can face the same opportunity and respond differently. One can say, I can learn this. The other can say, people like me cannot do this. One can see possibility. The other sees limitation. One takes the first step, the other withdraws before even starting. What creates the difference? The difference is in their self-image, is in the way they see themselves. Your self-image is the mental picture you carry about yourself. It is the way you perceive your abilities, your worth, personality, potentials. If you consistently see yourself as incapable, inferior, unlucky, unintelligent, or destined to struggle, you may unconsciously behave according to that picture. But if you develop a healthier and more realistic view of yourself, you become more willing to learn, you attempt new things, you grow, and you take responsibility. This is a very powerful principle. See, you will rarely live consistently beyond the image you have accepted of yourself. And that's a fact. Now, what is self-image? What is self-image? Your self-image is your internal answer to the question of who am I? Now, this who am I is not in relation to your purpose, but in relation to how you perceive yourself. And this question includes what you believe about yourself, your abilities, your appearance, your intelligence, your personality, your worth, the potentials that you carry, the things that are limiting you, your social value, your capacity to succeed, etc. See, some people carry empowering self-image, others carry destructive ones. A person may secretly believe I'm not intelligent, or not attractive, or no, I don't have a leadership capacity, or I'm not good with money, I made bad decision, or people like us don't succeed in all that kind of talk. Or maybe you conclude that you are too old to start, or you have nothing special to offer. You see, this belief can become invisible barriers. And once they have formed this barrier, they have the capacity and the capability to hinder you from seeing anything good come out of yourself. And this self-image, they are not things that just drop overnight. Where does this self-image come from? You see, a limited self-image does not usually appear overnight. You must know that it can develop through repeated experience. As a matter of fact, not that it can, it develops through repeated experiences. We're talking about negative self-image or limited self-image, image that limits your progress, that limits your growth, the belief that you have formed over the years as a result of certain situations and circumstances surrounding your upbringing. That's what we're talking about. So one of the things that can form limited self-image about you is failure, repeated failure. When you have failed and failed and failed again, it becomes difficult to try. Another one is rejection. When you have rejected time and time again, you feel like no, you won't want to try another one. You conclude by seeing yourself as not being a valuable person. Maybe you grow in an environment where they constantly criticize you. You are used to being criticized. All of this can create a very, very negative self-image about yourself. Another is comparison. They always compare you to the other person that is doing well. Before they say anything, they say, can't you see so person behaving well? Can't you see so person becoming first in class? Can't you see so person achieving greatness? Constant criticism can limit your self-image. Comparison. Comparison can limit your self-image. Another one is social conditioning. or family condition, whichever way we put it, is sometimes people grow up hearing negative statements about themselves. Eventually, the voice of others becomes the voice inside their head. The voice, the negative voice spoken in your environment, maybe within family, within loved one, the people that you trusted and believed that should be the guide, those that should lead you to success. But instead, they keep running you down. All of these are the reasons and how self-images are formed. Past mistake as well. We can still categorize that under failure. Past mistakes. People continue to define themselves by things they did years ago that failed. You see, but a mistake is something you made. It does not necessarily determine who you are. Mistake has come and it has gone. But you are not the mistake. The mistake is an event and not you. Don't ever let failure become your identity. Don't ever let failure become your identity. See, failure can be painful. Failure becomes more dangerous when you turn an event into an identity. You failed an examination. Yes, but that does not make you a failure. Your business failed, but that does not make you a failure. Your relationship ended. That does not mean you cannot find love again. You made decisions that are poor, that are not good. That does not make you somebody who lacks the ability to make good decisions. You lost an opportunity, yes. No matter what happened, you are not permanently excluded from opportunity. And the fact that you have lost opportunity does not mean that you cannot gain other opportunity. And you must remember this. An event happened. It does not have to become your identity. What you need to do is to learn from it. Correct what needs correction. Develop yourself. And then you do what? You try again. Once you develop yourself, you do what? You try again. Now, we are examining the things that can cause our limited self-image one by one. Now, we've talked about failure. Now, we have jumped to your past. Your past does not have the final word over you. Your past does what? It does not have the final word over you. Some people are still living under labels created by their past. Some may have called themselves lazy. You see, someone said they will never amount to anything because of past experience. Someone told them they were not intelligent. Someone rejected them. Someone underestimated them. And years later, they are still carrying those words. No, it is totally wrong. You need to understand something. People can describe you incorrectly. Their opinion is not automatically your reality. You must develop the ability to examine the labels you have accepted and ask yourself, is this actually true? Where did I get this belief? What evidence supports it? What evidence contradicts it? What can I become if I stop believing this limitation? What can I become if I do what? If I stop believing this limitation? All of this put together, once you're able to assess this situation, you're on the verge of breaking free from limited self-image. And then, stop borrowing other people's limitation. Stop what? Stop borrowing other people's limitation. See, sometimes the limitation we carry are not originally ours. And it's not just sometimes, in most cases, the limitations that we carry are not just ordinary ours. They were inherited from someone else's fear. Some failed and told you not to try. A situation like that. Someone struggled and told you, it's impossible. Someone was rejected and taught you not to trust people. Someone lacked confidence and discouraged you from taking risks. It's all of these are ways by which people influence you not to do good in life. You must learn to distinguish between wisdom and inherited fear. Listen to advice, learn from experience, but don't surrender your entire future to somebody else's limitation. Don't you ever submit your entire future to somebody else's limitation. Don't forget, stop borrowing other people's limitation. Live your life. Now, your self-image must be based on reality. Your self-image must be based on reality. Breaking a limited self-image does not mean developing an exaggerated ego. Healthy self-image is not arrogance. It is accurate self-perception. You can say, I have strength, I have weakness, I have limitations, I can learn, I can improve, I have potentials. I'm responsible for developing myself. That is the confidence rooted in reality. That is the confidence rooted in reality. So do whatever you can. Do whatever you can. But make sure that whatever you do, don't let any form of failure, past failure, or limited self-image hinder you from growing as you should grow. And you must also stop disqualifying yourself. See, sometimes the biggest rejection in life is not coming from other people, it is coming from you. An opportunity appears and you say, they won't choose me. Who told you they won't choose you? A position becomes available and you say, I am not qualified enough. Someone wants to hear your idea and you say, nobody will take me seriously. You haven't even been rejected yet. You rejected yourself first. You don't have to do that. Allow the world to tell you no even if it must, but don't tell yourself no before you even try. Give yourself permission to attempt again. Do what? Give yourself permission to attempt again. Build evidence for a better self-image. Here's the thing. You have failed before. But the ones that you have done that you have succeeded, use them as evidence to encourage yourself to pursue greater good for yourself. You see, confidence is not built by wishful thinking. It is strengthened by evidence. If you want to believe that you are disciplined, start keeping promises to yourself. If you want to believe that you are capable of learning, then you start learning. If you want to believe that you are courageous, take courageous action. If you want to believe that you are becoming productive, then you should do something about it. You start producing. If you want to believe that you are responsible, then you start taking responsibility. Every positive action becomes evidence. Every completed commitment becomes evidence. Every skill acquired becomes evidence. Every difficult situation you survive becomes evidence. So don't merely tell yourself that you are becoming better. Build evidence that you are becoming better. And this evidence will now be your motivation to keep going in the right direction. Build evidence. Or in other words, keep record of all your good deeds. Keep record of all the things that you have done that have succeeded. And remind yourself of those things that you have done and you have succeeded. And let those things be the motivation to keep you going when you are faced with failure. Don't wait to feel confident. Many people think confidence must come before action. That's not the way it works. It works the other way around. As a matter of fact, it works the other way around. You act, you learn, you improve, you gain experience, and then you become competent, and then your confidence grows. Therefore, don't wait until you feel completely ready. Start with what you know. Learn what you don't know. Improve as you go. Courage often comes before confidence. This you must know. So as you improve, as you start with what you know, as you learn what you don't know, and then you keep improving as you go, then courage comes, and then you become very, very confident. Redefine yourself through growth. Perhaps you used to procrastinate. You must become more disciplined. If you used to fear public speaking, then you need to keep practicing. If you struggle academically, you need to learn other better ways of helping yourself to study. And if you know that you are careless financially, then you must begin to learn how to be disciplined financially. If you know that you lack confidence, you need to begin taking small courageous action, taking steps that will boost your self-confidence. Then don't spend the rest of your life saying, that's just how I am. I've seen people like that. You need to take me the way I am. That is me for you. That is how I am. No, that is not how you are. What you are calling how you are now is an habit that you have formed over the years, and that habit can be corrected. So that is not how you are. You can change patterns. You can develop good habits. You can build skills. You can mature if you so choose to. You can. Your personality may have tendencies, but your character and habit can develop over time if you put your mind to it. Now, if you want to break free from every limited self-image, you need to surround yourself with good people that can encourage you. You see, the people around you matter. They really matter. They matter so much. Your environment can reinforce your self-image. If everyone around you constantly tells you that you cannot grow, it becomes harder to believe in possibility. It becomes harder for you to grow. You need to seek relationship that encourages growth. You need to spend time with people who challenges you constructively. You need to learn from people who have developed capacity that you desire. So it means if it means you need to find a mentor, you need to find a mentor. If it means that you need to read widely, then you must begin to read widely. Expose yourself to ideas that expand your thinking. Your environment should not become an excuse, but you should understand it and influence it. Your environment should not become an excuse. Sometimes you need to change what you constantly hear in order to change what you constantly believe. Just like the Bible says, faith cometh by hearing and hearing. So what you constantly hear determines what you believe. Every set of belief that you have today came as a result of what you hear and what you see. So it's important to change your circle if your circle is limiting your growth. Now, you need to change beliefs that are limiting you. Replace limiting belief with development belief. Replace limiting belief with development belief. Instead of saying, I am not good enough, you should choose, I am developing my capacity. Words like that. Instead of thinking or saying, I cannot do it, you can choose to say, I can learn how to do it. Instead of saying, I'm too far behind, you can choose, okay, I will focus on making meaningful progress from where I am. Instead of saying, I failed too many times, you can choose, my failures have taught me lessons that I can use to grow. Instead of saying, I'm not talented, you can choose words like, I can develop valuable skills. Instead of, you say, oh no, people don't like me. People don't like me. You can use what I say, I'm admirable, I'm lovable, I can become the best ever I find myself. So you choose words. Instead of saying, people like me don't succeed, you can choose, I build the knowledge, character, and capacity that is required for me to succeed. Words like, there is more in you than you have demonstrated. You can personalize them. There are possibilities you have not explored. There are skills you have not developed. There are opportunities you have not pursued. There are places you have not reached. There are things you have not attempted because somewhere along the way you became convinced that you couldn't. And today you need to challenge that belief. Don't be arrogant about it, just become courageous. Don't pretend you have no weakness. Develop those weaknesses. Don't pretend you know everything. Learn so you will know more. Don't wait until you feel completely confident before you start. You hold yourself the opportunity to discover what you are capable of becoming. Yes, you hold yourself the opportunity to discover what you are capable of becoming. So the greatest limitation is often not the absence of opportunity, but the belief that you are incapable of taking advantage of it. But the belief that you are incapable of taking advantage of it. I'd like you to say this, and I'd like you to say it after me as I say it. I refuse to be imprisoned. Let's say it again. I refuse to be imprisoned by a limited view of myself. I will not allow my past to define my future. I will not allow failure to become my identity. I will not allow rejection to determine my worth. I will not allow comparison to destroy my confidence. I will recognize my strengths. I will confront my weakness. I will learn. I will grow. I will develop. I will challenge the belief that limits me. I will take courageous steps towards becoming better. I will give myself permission to grow beyond who I have been. I'm not finished. I'm still developing. I'm still becoming. There is more in me, and I'm more committed to bringing that more in me out. As you say those words, something will begin to change in you. So from today, your self-image can become either a ceiling or a launching pad. If you constantly see yourself as incapable, you may stop attempting. If you see yourself as a developing person, you become more willing to learn and grow. Therefore, don't create a prison with your own perception. See yourself honestly. See your potential clearly. Accept responsibility for your development. You are not required to become somebody else. You are required to become the best version of yourself that your growth, character, discipline, and potential can produce. So, you need to stop asking, what if I fail? Start asking, what if I'm capable of more than I have ever imagined? Thank you for being with me from the beginning to this point. You have taken a vital decision by listening to this program, and I know at the end of it, your self-limiting image will have disappeared, and a new you is forming and emerging. That new you, take it to work. Begin to work towards becoming far better than you were before you listen to this message. My name remains Adejumobi Honest, and until I see you again, keep breaking every self-limitation in your life and keep growing, because the sky is not your limit.